Annihilator is a Canadian heavy metal band founded in 1984 by vocalist, guitarist, bassist, songwriter, engineer, producer, mixer, mastering engineer Jeff Waters and vocalist John Bates. They are the highest-selling heavy metal group, from Canada, in Canadian history, having sold more than 3 million albums worldwide, although most of their sales have been generated outside of the band's home country. Their first two studio albums, Alice in Hell and Neverland, are considered to be influential Canadian heavy metal records. Since its inception, Annihilator has released 14 studio albums and has featured legendary guitarist engineer-producer Jeff Waters as the only consistent member. Waters had originally started the band with the intention of keeping it a band, but found out quickly that he was finding himself playing and writing all the instrumental parts, lyrics and melody lines. After the band's debut release, he decided to hire a singer and drummer to record the records with him and then often hired different musicians for the live touring end, confusing quite a few fans in the early years. History: Annihilator was formed in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada by Jeff Waters and singer John Bates. In 1984, he wrote and recorded the song Annihilator with singer John Bates. This original version of Annihilator was released on the special edition of the 2005 album Schizo Deluxe. Waters and Bates then recruited drummer Paul Milk and bassist Dave Scott. This lineup lasted a year, producing a demo titled Welcome to Your Death during their time together. The demo received worldwide recognition and became highly sought after. After John Bates and Dave Scott left the band before its release, citing artistic differences and personality conflicts, Jeff Waters and drummer Paul Milk recorded another successful demo titled Phantasmagoria in 1986. This was said to be the third most traded metal cassette tape in the 1980s, behind Metallica and Megadeth's demo tapes. Some songs written at this time, by Jeff Waters and John Bates, ended up on Annihilator's first two official studio albums. A third demo was recorded by Waters and Milk in 1987 and was sent only to labels. It included more songs that would end up on the first two Annihilator studio albums. Waters relocated to Vancouver in 1987, where he assembled an entire lineup, including drummer Ray Hartman and former DOA bassist Randy Rampage, on vocals. Between 1987 and 1989, Waters was in and out of a recording studio recording guitar and bass tracks and producing what would become the band a unregistered trademark debut album. Once the album was finished, he hired bassist Wayne Darley and guitarist Dave Davis. The band gained more recognition within the metal community after releasing their debut album Alice in Hell, in 1989. Annihilator embarked on their first world tour, playing with Onslaught in Europe and with Testament in the USA and Canada, after which singer Randy Rampage says he quit the band to retain his seniority at a job on the shipping docks in North Vancouver. Jeff Waters found ex-Omen singer Coburn Farr and the band released their second album, Neverland, in 1990. The album, a unregistered trademark sales surpassed Alice in Hell. After tours with Judas Priest, Pantera and headline tours around the world. The next CD featured Aaron Randall on vocals, with Waters playing most all instruments again. This CD had 3 drummers playing on it, most notably current Dream Theater drummer Mike Mancini. Mancini would go on to record more CDs with Annihilator over time. The band was signed to Sony USA by this point. Bassist Wayne Darley had to leave the band in August 1993 as he was unable to enter Japan, where the band was touring in support of the album. Annihilator left Roadrunner Records that year. Jeff Waters decided to change things up again and released one of the band's biggest and most critically acclaimed CDs, King of the Kill, in 1994. This album was the first to feature Waters as lead vocalist. He also played the usual all guitars, bass, as well. Drums were done using an Analysis S16 drum machine with Randy Black recording cymbals on top of the tracks. Cam Dixon later joined on as touring bassist for the ensuing, highly successful tour with Dave Scott Davis returning as touring guitarist. In 1996, the band's next CD, Refresh the Demon, was released, and Lou Budosso and David McClander joined as touring musicians, along with Dave Davis again. McClander died from liver failure. Jeff Waters continued performing lead vocals until 1997's Remains. 1997–1998 gave Waters a divorce and subsequent custody battle over his then 2-year-old son. Waters resumed working on a new CD. Waters decided to reunite the Alice in Hell lineup to record another album. All members apart from Wayne Darley, who had health problems, agreed to reunite. Bassist Russ Burgess joined the band as bassist. This lineup released Criteria for a Black Widow and toured successfully. However, Rampage was fired following the tour for his erratic behavior. Joe Como replaced him on vocals, while Curran Murphy replaced Davis on guitar and Randy Black rejoined on drums. During the early 2000s, Annihilator released the albums Carnival Diablos and Waking the Fury. After considerable success, the band unregistered trademark S lineup once again was intentionally shuffled by Waters, still hell-bent to change things up to continue being totally into it, said Waters. In 2003 he recruited Dave Padden as vocalist, while Waters recruited touring bassists and drummers. Annihilator's first 2 albums in this band format were All For You and Schizo Deluxe. The latter being dubbed by Waters as the band's most underrated offering. In 2007, Annihilator released their 12th studio album Metal. It features 12 well-known guest performers, such as Corey Bewley, Willie Adler and Jeff Loomis. The band unregistered trademark S self-titled 13th album was released in 2010. Annihilator returned to Canada for 2 live shows. The first time the band has played live in North America since 1993. On July 10, 2011, Annihilator headlined the Quebec City Imperial Theatre to a sold-out crowd. Annihilator played the main stage on July 24, 2011 at Montreal's Heavy MTL Festival. The band, as always, continued to tour the world with sold-out shows in South America and Europe. Annihilator released their 14th studio album entitled Feast on August 23, 2013. Drummer Mike Harshaw and bassist El Campuzano joined on as touring drummer-bassist. Headline tours, festivals, etc. The band was also honored to open the Mighty Wacken Festival in Germany, with at least 75,000 people watching. Annihilator, Deep Purple and Rammstein were the only 3 bands invited. In the summer of 2014, Oscar Rangel replaced El Campuzano, their bassist since 2010. The band played most of the summer of 2014 in Europe, playing the big metal festivals like Sweden Rock, Hellfest, Graspop and many more. October took Annihilator to Mexico City where they played the famed Hell and Heaven Festival with Overkill before them, then Rob Zombie, Korn, Limp Bizkit and Kiss. Annihilator are currently working on their 15th studio CD and will also play the famed 70,000 Tons of Metal Cruise in January 2015, where Jeff Waters is also host of the infamous Jamming with Waters and International Waters Jam session. Discography: Alice in Hell, Never, Neverland, Set the World on Fire, King of the Kill, Refresh the Demon, Remains, Criteria for a Black Widow, Carnival Diablos, Waking the Fury, All For You, Schizo Deluxe, Metal, Annihilator, Feast. Members. Current members: Jeff Waters a Euro guitar, vocals, bass, Dave Padden a Euro vocals, guitar. Current live members: Oscar Rangel a Euro bass, Mike Harshaw a Euro drums. Former vocalists: John Bates a Euro, Dennis Dubo a Euro, Randy Rampage a Euro, Coburn Farr a Euro, Aaron Randall a Euro, Joe Como a Euro. Guitarists: Dave Davis a Euro, Neil Goldberg a Euro, Curran Murphy a Euro. Bassists: Dave Scott a Euro, Wayne Darley a Euro, Cam Dixon a Euro, Lou Budosso a Euro, Russell Burgess a Euro, Sander de Breton a Euro, Brian Deeman a Euro, Alberto El Campuzano a Euro bass. Drummers: Paul Melk a Euro, Richard Duff a Euro, Ray Hartman a Euro, Mike Mancini a Euro, Randy Black a Euro, Dave McClander a Euro, Rob Falzano a Euro, Tony Chappell a Euro, Alex Landenberg a Euro, Carlos Cantator. Former touring members: Dave Sheldon a Euro bass, Ryan Alpha Euro drums, Carlos Cantautor, Flo Mournira Euro drums, Timeline. See also, List of bands from Canada, references. External links, official website, Annihilator a Euro OE Annihilator Euro album, Jeff Waters of Annihilator, interview and audio June 2010 at lifemusicmedia.com.